Well, hey, what is happening, Miles, Biggs, and Alex? How are you guys today?
Doing good. How about you?
Great.
Yeah, doing good. Well, this is going to be a fun show. We got an up-and-coming rising star with us today, Miles. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, video star / future rap artist. He's got a lot of options ahead of him, I'd say.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Alex, listen, why don't you take 2 seconds and let everybody know who is Alex B. Sheridan and how in the heck did you just come out of left field as being a LinkedIn superstar?
Well, my name's Alex Sheridan. I'm the founder of a company called Impacts. We're a LinkedIn marketing company, and I help turn founders and executives into revenue-generating content creators. And a lot of my videos are as known on LinkedIn as being pretty creative because I try to take ideas and concepts that people need to implement, but throw in a huge creative twist on it. So whether it's a rap battle, whether it's some type of skit where there's some humor added, a LinkedIn Terminator I've done before, the Wolf of LinkedIn, we've done all kinds of fun stuff. But that's the key, is try to entertain as you educate and grabbing a lot of attention.
So, all right, the Wolf of LinkedIn. I've not heard that one before. So we have Jerry McCahey, I saw, is already on in the comments. Jerry McCahey, just so you know, is he's a big social media guy with pushing offsite construction and has a prefabrication plant. Jerry, I have an idea. I think we need to do a rap battle, and I was talking to Alex about this: offsite construction versus traditional construction. And I think Jerry and I need to rap battle together and find some offsite construction people to go head to head with. We'll have like a rap battle, head to head battle. And Alex, you can mediate.
I will. I'll be the MC in the middle, just letting you guys go at it.
Yeah. I love it. So, all right, Alex, this is what's exciting. We are live in 3 locations. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and we are on Facebook right now. We have several people on all those platforms watching you right now, which is great. I think what's exciting about having you on is you're taking a traditional, boring, snubby business platform and actually making it enjoyable to do business and making it enjoyable to watch something that you put out there during the day, which is all about helping others be successful. And I think that's what's going to make this conversation so much fun. What do you think, Miles?
Yeah, I totally agree. When I watch it, it's almost like TikTok beats LinkedIn with his videos, right? It's that fun, creative stuff you would consume in your personal life, but the messaging is all about business. So it works.
TikTok meets LinkedIn. That's what we should do. We should come up with a platform that is a mix of TikTok and LinkedIn, right? Because TikTok is big. Whether you like it or not, it's here to stay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or not here to stay, depending on
depending on the recent troubles. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, well, maybe not here to stay in the States, but I think it's here to stay somewhere. Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty cool. And we're going to jump in and show 1, maybe even 2 of your videos because I think this is pretty awesome stuff. Alex, why don't you kind of walk us through what is the reason somebody is coming to you for help? What are you seeing as the I guess as the problem that a lot of people are having, especially during COVID, with social media and video?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a couple of things. One, when COVID happened, obviously everything went virtual, right? All the live speaking events are now virtual. All the live meetings that we were going to have and shake people's hands all went to Zoom or video or whatever it might be. So the whole world completely changed. And what a lot of people had to face the facts of is that they didn't have a presence on video. They didn't have a virtual presence, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Facebook, wherever it's at. They weren't showing up because they relied on all these live gates and these live meetings and whatnot. And so you had to kind of face that and say, wait a second, now that everything's gone virtual and we've taken a step back from the live social, obviously social distancing, I need to have a brand. People need to know who I am. My customers need to know and be able to find me. And I need to be able to deliver value to people, value to my target audience so that they do come to me, so that they want to watch me, so they want to pay attention to me. And so that's one. Secondly, I help a lot of people who are just on LinkedIn. Maybe they pop on once a day, a couple times a day, maybe it's a few times a week, but they don't really get anything out of it. So they're posting content occasionally, or maybe they comment or they connect with people, but they're not generating actual revenue for it. So, and that's what I help people do is how do you take the time that you spend on LinkedIn, you get intentional, you get strategic, you put out the right kind of content, and that ends up having customers coming to you so you can generate business for your own business.
Sure. And you've actually started a class on this, right? I mean, you have like a mastermind group of people that you're teaching, and these aren't just young people. I mean, they're executives from all walks of life.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I run a 5-week LinkedIn video boot camp where we take you week 1. You could know absolutely nothing about LinkedIn. And by the end of that 5 weeks, you know how to come out of the gates and start generating some revenue for your business. And yeah, most of the folks are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, successful business people, but realized, one, they didn't have a virtual presence. They didn't know how to get on video and engage with their audience, engage with their target, market. And 2, they're not generating any business through social platforms like LinkedIn when there's such a massive opportunity to do so right now, especially on LinkedIn, because you can grow organically. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on ads and things like that. You can get on there with a good strategy and really grow your business and brand just by getting on the platform.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, Miles, guess who's joining us right now? Rodney Hall.
Yeah.
98 degrees, baby, in rising.
98 degrees in Dallas and rising.
I love it. What's up, Rodney?
You got to love Rodney Hall. Rodney Hall is an executive recruiter in our industry in construction, and some would say, to include myself, probably the #1 construction recruiter out there. So it's really cool that Rodney's tuning in. Rodney's a big fan of LinkedIn. And Rodney, I haven't caught up with you yet. I know you hopped on your first plane trip not too long ago, and I know your wife put you in quarantine. Let us know how that worked out for you. Love it. All right. And we also have Henry Mickelberg. Hi, chaps. Jerry and Joel. Henry, where are you in from? Chaps, is that England?
Sounds like it.
I'm curious. Tell us where you're from. All right. So why don't we show somebody? Why don't we show everybody one of your videos, your rap battle between sales and marketing. And it's about a 2.5 minute video, give or take 2 minutes, 50 seconds. But I think it'll be a lot of fun and people will understand why you're killing it and why you're having so much fun here. What do you think?
Let's do it.
I love it. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound okay.
Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, ABS, and welcome to the Business Rap Battles. Tonight, we got one of the biggest showdowns
in the history of business. Sales versus marketing. Let's get this thing going. Sales, you're up first.
Let's go.
Bring you phone call, I hop on my car. Cause I got a phone call, listen, I'ma go. Have you ever met the #1 sales star? You're a video guy, and that's all you are. Better look around at me, cause you need me. Cause you close on deals, you wanna be me. That's the script, and I get the bus. Sales over marketing, discussion. Yeah, I know you get the views. There's some engagement on LinkedIn, and that's cool. But see, I'm the one who generates the revenue. Hold up a second, man. Let me tell you what I do. Hey, I get the money, I make it moves. Your videos, all that shit that I'll get you without me. It's just gonna lose. You don't know the first thing about closing. All you really know is just posting. Click, you hit a button. You need my contracts, I'm proposing. I build relationships, my clients and I are the best of friends. You with no relationship, but drop right on your stupid head. I got the real KPIs because I'm dedicated. You ain't got no metrics, you just checking if it resonated. I guess it's hard for me to understand the brand thing. Selling's all I know is I think you're my family. But I know I gotta change too. Selling has evolved, and it's not the same game.
Woo! All right, let's hear it for sales. Yeah, you like that? All right, next up on the mic. Let's give it up for marketing.
Let's go. Brand new video and I'ma do my thing. You have fun, so calling to get notes. Have you ever met the creative video king? Clients come to me because of my videos. You better look around at me cause you need me. The face of my brand and you wanna be me. No more and I gotta get the bus. Marketing over sales is no discussion. Oh, that's cute, you got a cold call to get a meeting. Got a dollar bunch of numbers just to get a greeting. But this is COVID, so you can't get no physical seating. Without no video presence, it's not a battle, it's a beating. Hold up. I know you gotta hit the quotas, but before you go all self-terminated, you gotta get noticed. That stupid head of mine is a genius and creative. I get his notice and reference, and you got something to play with. Without me, the rest don't do. You don't know how to be innovative. What the hell you gonna do? Find the pain and get investigative. A good sales rocks a time a dozen. I'm a ABC close you cause I got the whole crowd buzzing. I guess it's hard for me to understand you. I got a family too. And the reason I do what I do, we work together. We could be better. Imagine instead of a battle, we started fighting together,
There it is.
I love it.
On my end. I'm not sure if it came through on everyone else's, but
Was it coming through for you guys?
there was an echo on my end, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it could just be me.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. You can never tell with these live feeds.
That's it. You can always go check it out, on LinkedIn. It's on my page. So
Absolutely. Miles, were you able to hear it okay?
Yeah, and I had to keep myself from laughing out loud so I didn't interrupt the feed.
The funny part is I can see everybody's little picture. I have this holding tank below and I can see everybody's head bobbing.
Oh yeah.
I almost need to screenshot that and put it up. All right. So clearly, I mean, that takes a lot of effort to do what you did there, Alex, and to put it out there. And you're doing that to raise awareness on what you're teaching and how to get your brand awareness out there. But your entire course is really based just around this type of stuff to let people stand out.
Yeah.
Right. To help people be different than everybody else that's doing video, that's talking out there, because there's a little bit of an entertainment factor with it. Right. So there's a little bit of showbiz mixed with, here's a real conversation.
Yep. And that's the key. And it's people are like, well, I can't rap, so I can't do something like, well, it's like, you don't have to be able to rap. The trick is, and what I teach is how to unleash your own creative. So how to take what you're naturally good at, take your strengths. Maybe you're a really great speaker. Maybe you've got some humor. Maybe you, the way you speak is so different, it's so unique. Maybe you can act a little bit. Like maybe you're just a good presenter and you're using props. Maybe you're a great interviewer. There's lots of different things that people have in terms of talent and skill that they can bring to their content. My job is to figure out what that is for you and how to leverage that from your content, because you do have to stand out. If you just get on camera every day and you say, hi, I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that have to do with marketing, you're just going to get, it's too noisy out there. You have to break through that brick wall. And if you're trying to break through the brick wall by throwing a bunch of pillows at it, good luck breaking through the brick wall. So you've got to do something to stand out. You've got to build an actual brand. Yeah,
for sure. 100% agree with that. I mean, so what if you have a process and start? So I come to you, I say, all right, Alex, I don't know, man, video, I'm trying to stand out. I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to grow my personal brand. Step one, what is step one of your process?
Step one is to optimize the profile. So we have to optimize the profile for success. When you think about when people, whether they see your content, whether you first connect with them, whether you message them, at some point, they're going to be drawn to your profile. They're going to visit your profile, which if you think about it on LinkedIn is basically your mini website. Like that's where you do want to talk about, hey, here's exactly how I help my customers. Here's the results that I get for them. So it's everything from your picture to your banner, making sure it's very clear on what you do, to your about me section. The biggest mistake that I see people make in the about me is they start talking about, hey, my name's Alex. I'm a hard worker. I've been in the industry for 30 years. No one cares. No one cares, right? So you got to jump out and just say, hey, here's exactly how I help my target audience. Or maybe you tell a story around some pain points that your customers go through. And when you start telling the story, they think, oh my gosh, this guy's literally talking to me. This is exactly how I feel. And then you say something like, this is where I help. This is where I jump in. And here's what I do for folks like you. And so you've really got to make sure that's on point first, because if you're not clear there, and if you don't wow them in the profile, just like a website, they'll take action, but it's not going to be the action that you want. They'll bounce off your profile instead of bouncing into a direct message with you or reaching out to you.
Right. So get to the point basically of what you can do and how you can help. So somebody's heartstrings get pulled, because that's what they're really looking for. Miles, you got to deal with that all the time, in Mojo Active and trying to get the message out there.
Yeah. I love the pillow against the brick wall analogy, because that's true. I mean, there's nothing technically wrong with that video where you talk about 3 things that are great about marketing or whatever your thing is, right? But to your point about the noise, that's so true. I'm curious on your end with that. And this is a little bit off of optimizing your profile, but how do you balance being creative and being professional? There's that whole group of people, right, that would say to you, this isn't Facebook. I don't want to see a rap battle on LinkedIn. What the hell's wrong with you, Alex? Right. So how do you walk that line, or do you not even care about it?
Well, it depends on your style, obviously, but that's a great point. Like you do have to think about because I know some folks that went really, really entertainment, high, funny stuff, and then kind of stop doing things because they realize, wait a second, no one's taking me seriously, that no one's going to buy from me. I'm not credible. I don't have the authoritative figure that I wanted to be. So you do have to balance that. So you do have to say, like, if all I did was rap battles and these funny videos, people may not take me as seriously. So I do have to balance it with doing things like this and putting that macro content, turn it into micro content from an interview, slicing out a minute and putting it on LinkedIn, or just me talking in the camera about a marketing strategy. Like yesterday, I did a 1 minute marketing strategy in under 1 minute. And I added some entertainment, some humor types things in there, but it was a pretty serious video. Like you'd watch that and you could get some tips and some tricks out of it. So you do have to balance that with not being, because your goal is to be an authoritative figure in your space, to where people, when they think about what you do, which for me is LinkedIn marketing, they think about you as being someone that can help them get there. But then you got to balance that with, okay, but how do I break out of obscurity and get known in the first place? Because you'll see a lot of people that jump on LinkedIn and a year later, they've made a little bit of movement, but a year later, they're still kind of in the same spot because they're just kind of, the content's just kind of average. It's not really super sticking out, versus people that do push the boundaries a little bit, but still balance it with the credibility and authoritative figure.
Yeah, 100%. Miles, that was a great question, by the way, because there is a lot of that old school business style that happens on LinkedIn, which is perfectly okay because it is a business platform and we want to keep it that. But, Alex, you are doing business stuff. It's not like you're not doing it. You're just adding some fun to it. And you're going towards a particular audience that wants that.
And exactly. And how you got to think about it is like, not everyone, if you're trying to please everyone, right? If I'm like, oh, I don't know, some people might not dig it. That's not the route I want to go. I want the people that are into that see me and they're like, I like this style, because I'm going to win more people and create a real community and a following based off that. But even look at the sales versus marketing rap battle. It was still very strategic. There was still a message. We didn't quite get to the end, but at the end, the marketing sales, they both go at it. And at the end, they kind of, they shake hands. And the message is that, hey, if you're a founder or an entrepreneur or a business owner, you need to be good at sales and marketing. It's not one or the other. You need to understand both, especially if you're a solopreneur. So there was a bit of a message around, it's not marketing versus sales. It's marketing and sales. And if you're an individual marketer, or if you're an individual sales rep,
good point,
work together to make your company rise, and so that there was a really strong message behind that. And the same thing with the founder versus employee message. There's a very strong value proposition message type theme behind it, but it's just being delivered in a more entertaining way. So it stands out.
Yeah. Stood out for me. That's why we're talking.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love it. I truly love it. What do you think, Miles? You look like you got to say something.
Yeah. And then
he's going to rap.
Yeah. Well, then all that gets into optimizing the profile, right? Because that shows up in the like, there's that ticker on everybody's profile where you see like what you liked or what you commented on and all of that. So I feel like sometimes people get caught up in what they're putting in their profile, but then they're out there saying horrible things in comments on other people's things, and that's going to show up on your profile. So it is a mix of balancing both. And I think your point is there. You can be creative and still be professional. But at the end of the day, it's the old adage of people do business with people that they like. So you're showing your personality. And that's, I think, one of the most important things. And you said it earlier, is focusing on what you're good at and amplifying your own creativity instead of me trying to go rap like you if that's not my thing.
Right.
It's got to be what people will actually get a version of when they do end up doing business with me.
Right. We've all got, like, you're good at things that I probably suck at, and vice versa. And same with Dave. Like, we all have strengths and weaknesses. So the key is leveraging those strengths. Yeah,
for sure. And Miles, you said the word, that's why I put the banner up there, unleashing the creative and the content strategy. But that's exactly it. It's you're helping people understand what their creative is. You're not saying be like me and create cool rap videos or fun sales videos and marketing videos and business videos. That's just your stick to get people to say, hey, what is this guy doing? Yep. And then, but your real stick and what I'm learning more and more is you're teaching them how to tap into their own self, look at inside themselves on how to put something out there from a content creative wise way that's going to stand out and on LinkedIn or any social platform for that matter. But I mean, what's video content up on LinkedIn right now? Like 50% or something?
Yeah. I mean, general content alone on LinkedIn is up 60% from this time last year. So, I mean, and a decent amount of it has been video because, like I said earlier, when COVID hit, people realized, man, if I don't have something video or virtual presence, I literally don't even exist anymore.
Right.
And so, it's getting more competitive, but there's still a ton of opportunity in terms of, if you look at the grand scheme of things, 680 million users on LinkedIn, and about, less than 2% of them post weekly content, which means you've got all these viewers, and not many people are taking advantage of the platform and getting in front of those viewers, much like very different than a Facebook or an Instagram where they're much more crowded. There's much more people posting content. It's harder to break through that brick wall than it would be to hop on LinkedIn, where if you hopped on right now and you had a good strategy and you executed in 6 months, you could be in a great spot where you're winning all kinds of customers just from LinkedIn alone,
Right. Right. When that's the key word. It's winning customers, right? LinkedIn, people want to do business together with people. It's not just about saying, well, look at that. I have, 20,000 followers. Well, that's great if it's a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I see
Right?
people with 20, 10, 20, 30,000 followers. When they post, it gets like one like, and it's like, well, they're not working LinkedIn like they should be. There's people that have 2,000 or 3,000 followers that I help win clients from. So it's, you don't need to have this massive backing, and you don't need to pay all this money every month in ads and stuff. You just need to have a good strategy and go out there and implement it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get to the comments here real quick, because they're filling up fast, and I want to make sure as we go through, we get to everybody. All right, we got Joel Hutchinson joining us. Hey, Joel Hutchins, how are you, man? Good afternoon, all. Rodney Hall said we already had that up. 98 degrees in Dallas and rising. Jennifer, show up with your three-dimensional self in a virtual world. Great advice, Alex B. Sheridan.
That's right.
Advice. I didn't even catch that one. You did good. Did Joel? Let's see. He's in France.
Okay.
In Milan. Nice. Man, I wish I was in Milan. Well, thank you for joining us. Love it. Thank you very much. David Graham, good morning, all. Hey, David, how are you today? Let us know where you're from, David. All right. Rodney Hall says, all good. Made a second flight. I asked him about his COVID. 80% full. Love it. Love it. All right. Here we go. Henry Mickelberg. I'm supposed to be sober for the rap. I mean, that's optional, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever you want to do,
Yeah. That's pretty good. Marketing is kicking ass. So you got a lot of good comments coming through here, which is a lot of fun. All right, Alex. So we'll get to some of these other ones as we move through. Tell us a little bit about what the next step is. So here we are. You're getting with us. We're optimizing our profile. We're getting creative on our content, and then we're going to hop into.
Yep. So then if you're doing video, it's video editing. Yeah. So this is the key. And if you just post a random video, you're not going to stop people in this. We call it stop the scroll. So if you go through my videos, you can see that there's headlines up top that are catchy, that draw people in. You've got the color schemes and whatnot, and you've got it actually takes up a lot of real estate in the LinkedIn page, in the LinkedIn feed. And I do that for a reason, because as good as your video could be, it could be the greatest video you've ever done. But if people don't see it, it's all for nothing. And then you just put in all this work for nothing. So you got to do things like thumbnails are super important, which is just the first frame of the video. That's what people are going to see when they scroll through the feed. So if your thumbnail is a blank screen or just you like this, it's not going to catch as much of attention as if you put some type of animation behind the thumbnail. But then it comes down to the editing itself. And then you've got things like people, 80% of people are consuming videos and have been consuming videos without the audio on. So if you don't have the subtitles at the bottom, a lot of people just when they're scrolling through, they're not even going to stop to figure out what your video is versus having those subtitles to catch people going. Also things like this, how do you factor in the first 3 to 5 seconds jumping out at people, grabbing their attention, because people are literally going like this. And if you don't pop out at them that's good. You stop them, but now you got to get them to stay.
That's right.
So you got in the first 3 to 5 seconds, it's not the time where you adjust the camera and you say, okay, my name's Alex, and today I want to talk. Boom, they're gone. They're gone, right? So you got to jump out and say, hey, here's just 3 things that I want to talk to you. So you've really got to hit them right from the get-go, or get right into what you're going to talk about. Think about the first 3 to 5 seconds as the hook. How are you going to hook them in? Hey, here's why your direct messages are not working right now. Boom, I got someone in. Whoa, and hey, take some notes because I'm about to tell you some kick-ass ideas. And then it's like, okay, what am I going to learn here? So you've got to be able to really hook people in. So that all kind of goes into the editing.
Yeah, for sure. So how long should these videos be? Do you tell people?
When you're starting off, a minute is a great amount of time. So I would go 1.5 minutes. I mean, no more than 2 minutes. I even personally, and I've got a decent following, I even get a little nervous when I go past 2 minutes. It's a long time. We don't have a long attention span these days. Yeah. So to catch people and keep people for more than 2 minutes when they're scrolling through their feed, this isn't Netflix. They're not sitting down and watching, 30 to 45 minute episodes.
Right.
So the shorter, the better. And especially I say that in the beginning for the folks that are going through my boot camp when we first start creating videos. 1, take the pressure off yourself. Don't think you need to create some crazy video, for the first few videos. Get some practice, get some wins under your belt, and then you can take to the next level. But if you're new and you're trying to grab new people, if they see 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 1.5 minutes, they're like, okay, I can skim that off the top. I can watch, a minute long video. If they say 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, it's like, man, that's a long time to sit and watch somebody's video that I've never seen before. I have no clue who this person is, what they bring to the table. And so I always tell people, definitely keep it between 1 minute to 1.5 minute is a perfect range. And you can fit things in there that you didn't think you could. I had one of my clients tell me when we first started working together, he's like, I don't know how to get it from 3 to 4 minutes down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. We went through his whole video. I go, dude, here's where you're shaving off time. Here's where you just spent 20 seconds and you didn't say anything, so it's like,
right.
You got to trim the fat, there no fluff, get right to the point, bring the value, be thinking about your target audience all the time. What do they care about? What do they want to learn about? What's going to grab their attention? And that's how you gear everything that you do. And
it gets easier over time.
Totally. It's like anything, guys. Like walking wasn't easy. Walking wasn't easy when you first started walking, right? But what did you do? You fell, you got back up, and you tried again. And that's why I just get a kick out of the whole camera. People are like, I'm not good on camera. I'm like, well, how many videos have you made? Well, I made about 2. I'm like, well, then there you go. Like, how would you be good at anything when you haven't ever done it?
Right.
So you got to keep going,
Yeah, for sure. Miles, you recently told me that even on your podcast, you went shorter on a lot of the podcasts, right?
Yeah. When I first started a podcast, they were pushing an hour or more. And then I just started experimenting for the same reason Alex was talking about the video, that it's rare someone's going to give you a full hour. Now, with podcasts, it's more, it's typical that they'll pause and start and stop a show, right? But I just started experimenting to see what would happen by shortening it from 60 minutes to about between 20 and 30 to see if was there any difference. Did I get more listeners or did I lose listeners? And I didn't lose any. And if any, I gained some. So again, when it comes to efficiency of time, why kill myself doing 60-minute shows if I don't need to, if I can get the same result from 30 minutes? That's another point I sort of wanted to pick your brain about, Alex. We talked about strategy, but I think an even bigger word is execution, which you brought up earlier. Because so many people will have phenomenal strategies and then not do a damn thing about them, right?
Yes.
They just die in thought in their brains.
Yes.
And I think video editing and videos, that's the excuse, right? Is I can come with the strategy. I know what I have to do, but I don't know how to shoot. I don't know how to edit. So if I'm a 60-year-old executive and I know I need to be doing it, but don't have the time to improve my skill set to add video, or I'm just not willing to, what are outsourcing options that people have so that they don't lose the execution of the strategy?
Yeah. And so 2 things on that. One, I do see when I train and coach people, I do see the whole like, hey, I know I need to make a video. I even taught them the strategy at this point, but they're still not making it. And I had a client the other day. I was like, Kristen, how's the video going? Is it coming out soon? When are you going to record? And she's like, Alex, I got to be honest. I'm just really hesitant about getting when I get in front of the camera, I just get nervous and I'm not recording. And I'm like, okay, well, talk to me. What's going on? How are you feeling? And she's like, well, I'm just worried that in my industry that someone's going to say something when I post a video that, I've got all these credible people. She's in the finance industry, all these credible people. And I'm just worried if I say something, what if they just pick it apart? And she's like, also, I'm worried that what I have to say may not be as valuable as I think it is. And so we talked through both of those things. And then I finally said, Kristen, you know what a great first video for you would be? And this is more of a general piece of content. I'm like, what if you came out and you said, hey, this is my first LinkedIn video. And by the way, I wasn't even going to make this video. I wasn't going to make it because I was scared what people might say. I was worried that I might catch some judgment or some backlash from this video. I was worried that what I have to say, what I would have to say wouldn't matter to my audience. Who am I to say this, right? It's the whole imposter syndrome that we all go through when we first start creating content. And I said, that would be such a powerful first video for you, for people to get to know you. And you'd probably inspire a ton of people that want to start creating content. So that's where it's like, don't overthink it. Not everything that you put on LinkedIn has to be very specific to your niche. You can branch out and post things about LinkedIn, even though you're not a LinkedIn creator, or about creating content, or about a motivational type of experience that you went through that you could share. So that's where the strategy kind of comes into play. But don't overthink it. Just don't overthink it. Do a 30-second video if that's what it takes for you to get on camera. That's why I say keep it short, because it's just easier to put together and it's easier to record. On the outsourcing piece, I teach in my boot camps how to actually outsource, because what I realized very early on was a lot of people don't want to do the editing. Dave, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the freaking editing, man. So like I do teach and I give them setups and context and stuff where you can edit your videos for a very fair price. And you basically can send them. And guys, the other thing is like, you can shoot your videos on your phone. So you don't need, I have a webcam that was $100 and this mic that was probably $99. So like, you don't need anything super fancy or very expensive. I didn't go to film school. I didn't go to any kind of schools for this. I learned the hard way, but now I'm teaching people the easy way. But this is all you need. And then if you want to shoot your video, you get a stand, a tripod. If you want to shoot your video and say, all right, I'm done. I'm going to outsource it. I'm going to go focus on my business. I teach you how to do that. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm actually talking. I'm talking on that right now. I've got a tripod, and this is my phone that I'm using.
Yeah, like you don't need anything fancy, you know.
No, you don't. You know what I found, and it's funny that story about that girl. I had a friend, lifelong friend, that said the same thing. Hey, I really wanted to get into video and doing more. And she works for like an ADT type company that's doing financing and all this stuff. And my topic's not real exciting. And I just said the same thing. But I told her, like, just keep it real. Say, hey, I haven't done this before. It went nuts. I was sitting there. I was jealous. I'm like, how did you pull that off?
Yeah.
But it's because they were real. And that's the thing.
And you know what? Remember when you were in class and somebody raised their hand, and teacher's like, anybody got any questions? Any questions? And everyone's like, no, I don't want to ask a question. And then one person asked a question, and it was the one that you were thinking of, everyone was thinking of. That's how this stuff works. It's like, a lot of people want to make content, but they're like, but I'm scared to put myself out there, which I totally get because I've been there. And then someone makes a video like, what, I wasn't going to do this, but I decided when you remember your purpose, you forget a lot of your fears. And that's what you have to think about. When you really think about your mission in life and where you're trying to go in your business and what you're trying to accomplish, the people that you're trying to impact, bring that to the surface and you'll forget some of the fears. It's just a camera. It's just a plastic piece sitting right there. It throws everyone off, I know it.
Hey, listen, but every time I do a video, especially the lives, like not so much the live shows, but I'm on location. Next week, we'll be live on location at Good Samaritan Hospital in West Islip, where I'm streaming live with the president of the hospital and this big set we did. I still get nervous when I do that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot riding on it, just in the sense of I want it to be good. But, you got to jump in with both feet, and as we say, Miles and I say it all the time, and I didn't coin this, but just do it scared. We're all scared.
Yes, it's just turn it into the excitement. And I think that the saying goes that courage isn't the absence of fear, but it's rather the push through the fear to still do what you want to do. And that's the key. I mean, the same with me. I still get nervous on this kind of stuff too. The little, the jitters come up and stuff, but it's like, what am I going to do? Not do it because of that? Everything that you want in life is outside of your comfort zone. Like, let's just face the facts. That's just the facts. Anything that you want really, that's really important to you is going to be outside of your comfort zone. It's going to take you stretching. Whether it's a fitness goal, a financial goal, a work goal, a business, whatever it is, you got to stretch for it. It's no different.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Miles.
Because here's the simple fact, right? If you don't do it, just like somebody else asked the question you were thinking of, somebody else is going to do it. Someone's going to make that video. Someone's going to make the sale, get the clients, gain all the market share. So what are you more afraid of? You're more afraid of being on camera or going out of business, right?
Exactly, man. That I did the video on Monday where it was like kind of a skit between me and a CEO, and he's like, "Nah, we're not creating content. We're not gonna. It's a waste of time." And I'm like, "Cool, no worries. Like, you do your thing. We'll see where you're at in 12 months when your company has literally no presence. And guess what? If your competitor is doing it, they're gonna smoke you because they're not. Their customers are now coming to them. They're not even having to go out and outreach. Their customers are now coming to them. Because they've got such a big brand. On top of that, you're going to land speaking engagements. You're going to create opportunities. You're going to build friendships. You're going to build connections that you never would have had before. So there's so much good that can come from it that, hey, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that, all day that you should do it. But you're missing out on a huge opportunity if you don't.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. But you know what? Video is not for everybody. Writing isn't like, I don't write. You send me more than a paragraph in an email. I'm picking up the phone and calling you.
I'm the same way. I'm
gonna hit that video record, on Gmail HQ, and you're gonna get a nice conversation back.
Yeah, true. But here's what I'd say about video though, because I get that, but also the world is very quickly moving towards this video, right? I mean, whether it's live or whether it's you got to send a video message. So it almost be like someone being like, "Hey, I'm not really like back in whenever the phone came out. I don't know my history that well." When the phone came out and someone was like, "Yeah, I'm not really a phone person. I'm more of like a in-person." Cool, but everyone uses the phone now. So if you don't know how to use a phone, you're kind of left behind. It's kind of like how, maybe not right this second, but it's coming. You got to get comfortable to some level on video because if not, you will get left behind.
Absolutely. So we have a question from Rodney. Would be interested in Alex's thoughts on public versus highly targeted approaches. What's your thoughts there, Alex?
So is he talking about creating content that appeals towards everyone versus content that appeals to your niche?
That's kind of what I'm picking up. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I take it too.
So what I teach him in my strategy is do both. Create some, and this is where you've got to like really narrow down your strategy. You don't want to go too general and too public where people don't know what you do. If I created content on like how to be a good dad and how to like, get a job and how to be happy in life, like no one would know what I do. They'd be like, oh, good content, but I'm not really sure what this guy does. So you've got to put out a nice balance of your niche type content mixed in, if you want to draw in more people, with some general stuff. So like the finance client I had, Kristen, that's a good example of like her putting out that video. It shows a little bit of vulnerability. It's going to resonate with a lot of people, right? Sure. And it's not in her niche. But then the next video she does, maybe she talks about, hey, we're in a COVID recovery right now. Should you be investing or should you hold your money? Like giving some tips about financial. So you've got to you got to balance both of them if you want to build a quick following pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I put up there that Rodney said yes. That's what he was talking about. So, which is great. And he did have a shameless plug I was putting up there earlier, but we kept talking. Shameless plug. He even called it out himself.
Love it.
What Alex is preaching: behavioral interviewing in 60 seconds.
There you go. There you go.
Love it. So, all right. So with that said, let's keep rocking and rolling. And we'll get to, we have some other comments from David Graham, about where he's at and what have you. But all right. So we're doing all this work. We're putting all this effort into getting the videos out there. We're going to make fools of ourselves, or maybe we're not going to make fools of ourselves. But the whole idea is to grow awareness to who you are so we can all have more clients or customers. Yeah. That's why we're on LinkedIn, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's really 3 ways on LinkedIn that you're going to drive traffic to you. One is through your content, where you put out a piece of content and someone reaches out to me, they DM me and they say, hey, interesting video. I'd love to learn more about what you do. I'm curious about your 5-week LinkedIn video bootcamp. Or maybe they just ask a couple questions. We start engaging. That's the best kind of lead, right? That's the best kind of traffic because it's warm. They came to you, but it takes a little bit of time to get there. The second kind is where you've got to outreach to people. So that's where, I use the video DMs on LinkedIn. You literally can, on the app, you can pull it up. You can go to message. On the left-hand side, there's a plus button. Hit the plus button. It'll say video. You click video and boom, you send a nice little 45-second to a 60-second video DM. You personalize it and you offer some value up to that person. And the first place you look is your likes and your comments. Those are people that have already engaged with you. They already know you a little bit. It's warm. So you can reach out and say things like, hey, thank you so much for watching the video or commenting on my post or whatever it is, and then start a conversation and just be a human. And the second kind is people that have looked at your profile. And then probably the third warmest would be just people that you've just connected with, where you can reach out and say, hey, we just got connected. I was looking at your profile. I loved your recent article on leadership. By the way, I saw you create a couple videos. I help people get more engagement out of their videos and win customer from their videos. I would love to share some free tips and strategies that might help you along the way. And boom, you can set up a call from there. The third kind of traffic that could come to you would be through things like this, which is collaborations. So that's why you've got to have a good content strategy. You've got to have a good messaging strategy. And then you've got to get in with some other folks, some folks that are building and have momentum and do some collaborations. But when you mix those 3 together, that's when you start generating customers. That's when you start generating revenue for your business. Because if you're doing all this, like if I always tell people at the very beginning of my boot camp, I'm like, guys and girls, just to be clear, we are not here to make cute videos. Like we're not here to make people laugh. We're here to grow our business and generate revenue for our business and make an impact on people's lives and have a voice that maybe we didn't think we had before. So we're here for some very serious stuff. But to reach people and to break through that brick wall, a lot of times we need to do it in ways that are just different, unique, give someone a different look so we get their attention.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to put your website up here so everybody has it.
Cool.
All right. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
I love it.
What I would add to that outreach, first, I totally agree with the whole DM strategy. I've been amazed at people that even haven't liked or commented on anything I've done. I just have been following them. Mm-hmm. They don't even know me at all, but I know them. And you reach out with that compliment or an audio message or a video message, and people respond to that always. It's a great strategy. I think not enough people are trying. For the same reason why they're not even making videos is because they're afraid, right? Yeah. So what I would add to what you said is absolutely do it. Be prepared to be told no. You have to do that like hundreds of times a day. And that's what's going to drive the results. You can't just do it once or twice, nobody answers, and then throw your hands up and say it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just like any other type of sales. If
Yep.
you're doing a cold call in person or a cold call via direct message, it's the numbers game. And the more you show up and show up powerfully and play the game, the better chances you have of winning.
Yeah, and you're right. You have to. One of the biggest misses that I see on people on LinkedIn, they're like, Alex, I'm posting 3 times a week and I'm not getting any engagement. And I'm like, well, Sally, like I just went through your profile and you haven't engaged with anybody in a week. Like,
Yeah.
you think you're just going to be able to post something every now and then that people are going to come flooding to you? It's not how it works. You got to give, and then you receive. You got to get out there and you got to build relationships. You got to give without expecting anything in return.
That's
and
right.
then what happens is people start when you do that. One, you build relationships, and you kind of have this underlying kind of thing where it's like, hey, I like your stuff, you like my stuff. But then two, the way the algorithm works is you pop up in their news feed more. So Dave, your stuff will pop up in my news feed because we've engaged so much, right? My stuff pops up in your news feed because we've engaged so much.
Can't get rid of you.
So you can't. Yeah, once I'm in,
Yeah.
I'm in, baby. Once I'm in the matrix, they can get me out. But that's how it works, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta understand that going in.
Love it. All right, well, look, we got Devon Tilley with us. Riches in the niches, he put. So Devon Tilley, the Art of Construction podcast. I think he's at